to have you all here and to share some exciting new announcements on our partner program and what we're doing to work with you to help you scale your business and be as collaborative as we can in the market. So let me introduce everyone that's going to be speaking on the session today. My name is Chris Etheredge. I lead our go-to-market operations. I'm based out of the Dallas, Texas area. On with me is Peter, who leads our partner ecosystem, and Saana, who is responsible for customer success internationally for us. I think you probably all maybe interacted with them at different times, and I'm sure they all get to look forward to meeting those of you that are new to Robocorp. So we thought we'd take some time today just to walk you through a little bit about Robocorp. I apologize, we've got a mix of people on the line here, from partners that have been with us from the very beginning of our journey, all the way to new people that are considering going to market with Robocorp. And welcome to you all. So I'll walk us through just a quick overview of who Robocorp is, how we're approaching the market, and then Peter and Saana will take us into more details on the partner program itself, tell a lot of really interesting stories, and talk about some of the programs we're putting in place. So if you're not familiar with us, we've been on this journey officially since 2019, but our founders go back even further than that in the RPA space, but they brought the company to market. We've been very fortunate to have the backing of some of the very best in Silicon Valley. Benchmark and Canvas Ventures have gotten behind us at this point and are helping us really scale the organization and make this solution available to the entire globe. And one of the key parts of our entire go-to-market strategy is our partners. And we believe that we have the ability together to make the value and the power of automation available to companies of all sizes and break down those barriers of functionality and cost that often keep companies from either starting an automation journey or taking it to scale. And that's what we're really all about as an organization, is giving you, the partners, the tooling and the capabilities and a cost-effective pricing model that allows you to help us take that to market and make that vision a reality. So, when we brought the company to market, there were, kind of a few sets of challenges that our founders saw that were common across the first generation of solutions that were out there. The UiPaths, the Blue Prisms, the Automation Anywheres, and the other usual suspects that you see out there, largely GUI-based automations with a citizen developer type model. And with that comes a lot of challenges, and I hear this every day from companies of all sizes that I interact with. They're dealing with fragile bots because of the GUI-based nature of those record and playback type automations. They have a great deal of challenges developing within those proprietary systems. I haven't met a developer yet that has told me that they like coding in UiPath. When it comes to actually getting to deploy these automations into the customers, they're burdened by high startup costs, which lead to a very delayed ROI. And ultimately, that plus the impact of the fragility that is often associated with these bots keeps companies from being able to get to scale. So our founders saw the need for a solution in the market that would take a different approach and bring about an opportunity for companies of all sizes to take advantage of automation. And it's a popular and crowded space. So I often get asked the question, well, what's different about Robocorp compared to the people that we see out there in the market every day? And this slide that's coming up is just just kind of a simple list of how we compare and how we approach it. We're not actively out there going after the citizen developer market. We're bringing a set of developer tools that allow you to have a more programmable approach to building sustainable automations. We're very fortunate to be able to leverage a very powerful open source ecosystem of tooling that is ripe with innovation that allows you to have the capabilities of automating against any system that's out there. When we built the platform itself, it was done ground up, cloud native, and it introduces a lot of flexibility in how these bots are ultimately operated and orchestrated. It aligns well with modern software development practices. We talk a lot about agile automation ops and how that aligns with the way companies are using a DevOps-based approach to build software. We believe bots should be built in the same exact way. And then finally, we've introduced a pricing model that's purely based on consumption. so that we directly align the client's or the partner's expenditure with the value that the bots are generating. We don't have a bot licensing model. We don't have a per seat model. We don't add extra charges for maintenance, et cetera. It's all encapsulated in one simple price that counts minutes of execution at the bot level. And that gives you a lot of flexibility. And we'll talk about that more as we go through the presentation. So just at a high level, how our solution works, there's really two primary parts to it. On the left, you see our set of open source development tooling. It is based on Python, which gives us, a very vibrant and powerful ecosystem to take advantage of. Our CEO, Antti, likes to say that every molecule in the universe has a Python library associated with it these days. And what that simply means is we're able to give you the power to automate against almost any target system that's out there and be able to bring the automations that your clients need to bear on their problems. We abstract that with another open source project called Robot Framework. We'll talk more about that in a second, but it basically keeps you, it allows people that are not necessarily Python experts to ramp up on our technology very quickly and efficiently build out their automations. Once the bots are built, you can deploy them in a variety of ways, including integration to popular source code repositories, and then orchestrate those in our control room in both an unattended and attended fashion. And the other point that I will make on here is because of the foundational components of the solution, we're able to support you operating in a variety of operating systems. A lot of our competitors are heavily Windows focused. We support both Windows as well as Mac and Linux right out of the box, which really impacts your overhead from an infrastructure standpoint. If you think about the dev tooling in detail, we've spent a lot of time on this. As I mentioned, it is Python based. There's over 7 million developers out there in the Python ecosystem doing all kinds of things. Robot Framework, as I mentioned, is an abstraction layer. It's a keyword driven syntax that makes it very easy for anyone with basic scripting skills to build out automations. We couple that with a very broad set of automation libraries that have come out of these open source projects and things that we have built and our partners and our customers have built and contributed to the open source projects, so that you have at your disposal hundreds of different libraries and keyword actions out there for integrations to popular systems as well as common bot actions. And then there's a variety of things from a dev toolchain standpoint that make it very easy to manage your Python environments, et cetera, and allow you to be as efficient as possible. And really where that all becomes super powerful for you as a partner is the ability to build, a multi-channel or a best path automation that makes that robot as sustainable and powerful as you can. We obviously support automation at the UI level, but we make it very easy for you to go deeper into the application stack to build bots against locators and UI elements, go to get directly against APIs, or all the way down to the data layer itself. And we see this in single use cases all the time, where an automation will start at the UI level in SAP, for example, then go against the API of Salesforce, and then manipulate data at the Excel data layer versus going through Excel the app. So it gives you a lot of flexibility in how you ultimately architect these solutions and bring them to bear for your clients. And we think there's a lot of inherent advantage there, and it gives you the ability to build bots that are much less fragile than the first generation players offer. And then once the bots are built, you have the opportunity to leverage our cloud control room for securely orchestrating and running and monitoring the bots. So I often talk to customers that have been using a competitor's technology, and they talk about the constraints they operate under all the time around, I've got a set number of robot licenses and execution environments, and I'm trying to deal with scheduling those bots so I meet the SLAs of my business stakeholders. And it becomes an issue with just being able to run that as efficiently as possible. With us, all of that goes away. It's truly cloud scale in that if you had 100 automations sitting on our platform today, you could theoretically run them all at the same time. You have the ability to make multiple copies of bots and run them in parallel. You have the ability to take a single automation and break apart steps of it So some of it operates sequentially, some of it operates in parallel to improve your throughput and efficiency on that bot itself. So there's a lot of inherent benefits of this, of the architecture and the features that we enable, coupled with our pricing model, allows you to rethink how clients can bring, how you can bring this to bear on your customers. And then, we often get asked the question about, well, what are my choices for how I architect this and ultimately deploy it to the customer? We provide some optionality there in multiple ways. The control room, if you've experimented with our technology, you can go out to our website today, sign up for a free account, and start orchestrating and operating bots in minutes. We also provide the opportunity to deploy it as a private cloud version. So in cases where clients would like that kind of deployment option, we can fully support that. But then on the other end, the bots themselves can be designed in such a way that you have complete control over what data gets processed locally versus what has to go to the cloud for processing. So there are partners on this call right now that are building bots for healthcare organizations, for example. Obviously, lots of concerns over data privacy. And so they have architected those bots in such a way that no sensitive data leaves the customer's premises. The control room is only used for just controlling the bot, start, stop, pass, fail, basic information from a logging standpoint. On the other end of the spectrum, you have the ability to deploy these fully in the cloud, utilize containers to deploy them out to the target systems, and take full advantage of all of the scale up, scale down features that are associated with cloud operations, as well as some of the advanced things that we're doing around being able to manage work items in a variety of ways within the bots themselves. So, we have a lot of inbuilt security within the platform. I will tell you that, in conversations with large financial organizations here in the US, InfoSec discussions can often be a little bit of a tightrope to walk. We get glowing feedback from the InfoSec teams on what we've built in the platform and the native security that is there. So we're becoming more and more confident about the things that we can do to meet the regulatory and data privacy needs of your clients. And just as an aside, the platform will soon we have SOC 2 Type 1 certification already. Type 2 will be coming within the next couple of weeks. And then finally, when it comes to the pricing side of things, this is often an important slide to share with customers and talk to them about the difference. And the fact that we are completely consumption based, it's really a game changer for them in how they look at the potential ROI of their projects, right? And so no bot licensing, no per seat licensing, no developer licenses. You as a partner can get started immediately and start developing these bots for nothing other than your cost of time to do so. And we only monetize at the point of the bot being deployed to the control room and being orchestrated through, right? And so there's a great deal of potential savings there just on the licensing side. But if you're engaging with customers that maybe have a Blue Prism or an Automation Anywhere already installed, it's important to talk to them about the infrastructure costs that they're incurring through those platforms. I've talked to multiple Fortune 500 customers within the last month that have told me that they spend more on their infrastructure to run Blue Prism or AA or UiPath than they do on those licenses associated with it. We have a real opportunity around affecting that spend and make it much more accessible for those large clients, as well as those in the SMB market. So with that, I'll wrap up my comments and hand it over to Peter to talk to you more about the partner program itself. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Chris. Tough bill to follow there with an excellent overview of just Robocorp in general and the technology that we're bringing to market. So what I hope to do here is to maybe add a little bit more color about why partner with Robocorp and why work with us specifically, and the opportunity that it presents to services providers, in addition to obviously the technology and the next generation capabilities that we're bringing there. Saana will also be, helping out as we move along here. So as we get started, I wish I was a little bit better with sound effects. I was in charge of the DJ at the beginning, but drum roll, please. We have great news for everybody. The total addressable market for automation services just got a heck of a lot bigger. Altogether, well, we're built for professional developers. We have the belief that access to automation should be democratized, just like our competitors do. but specifically in that everyone should be impacted by automation, not necessarily building automations. Whereas up until now, it's more or less been reserved for large enterprises. And even then it's difficult to scale because of not only licensing issues, but just, fundamentally how the Gen 1 providers have been built. So partnering with Robocorp offers the unique and powerful opportunity for our partners to win at both ends of the marketplace. So what that means is that there are now greenfield, small and medium-sized, both businesses and projects that now have ROI or an increasing amount of ROI underneath Robocorp's platform or built on top of Robocorp's platform. We see partners all the time revisiting quote unquote failed pitches with customers, things that they couldn't just make work in the traditional tools and traditional providers. Not only that, but we are seeing bigger projects actually get done. When it comes to flexibility and the scalability and complexity of bots, not necessarily the actual volume, we see, and Chris was talking, very about the Fortune 500 type conversations that we have. Anecdotally, we hear from these large enterprises that have been massively successful with RPA already, is that they're really only touching 30% of the use cases that they've laid out. And that's really all that's getting effectively deployed. So that's what we've tried to visualize here, in that, we think that there's a lot being left on the table with automation. And this is where our partners can step in to provide those services and deliver those automations to customers and do it in a sustainable way. So throughout today's discussion, we'll touch upon some of the business models that are transforming and emerging due to our platform's existence. Maybe the most obvious, Chris has already alluded to it, is we are actively supporting migration projects that make existing automations more cost-effective and more sustainable, and altogether make a little bit more sense for your customer. Second, for all types, the reality is that within our framework, there is potential for an elusive combination of both higher margins for you and happier customers, end customers for you, with you as well. We see faster deployment times. Again, I'll continue to reiterate more sustainable deployments. Altogether, that makes for a more positive experience for you and your services and delivery team, and then also your end customers as well. Lastly, we want to be clear that this is not a call for you to cannibalize or completely disregard your existing partner relationships. Of course, we're very proud to have Robocorp partners doing 100% of their work with us. And of course, we like those folks especially as much, but much of our partner roster today, especially noting the new opportunities that I've just reviewed here, they're successfully taking a multi-vendor approach to delivering automation, especially at the onset of our working relationship. And, we think that, the citizen developer thesis certainly has its merits in some cases. Our favorite analogy around the offices here is that, you certainly might hire a citizen car driver or a citizen landscaper to mow your lawn. You probably wouldn't hire a citizen surgeon to replace your knee or a citizen dentist to do your root canal. So for us, that kind of summates, what people are moving forward with in terms of, things that work underneath that model and things that don't work. So in summary for this slide, it's up to the partner where they want to focus and what business model they want to apply. But for us, we have a one-size-fits-all package. Our automation libraries are comprehensive enough to address all specific industry needs, target applications and use cases that you might be accustomed to. And our platform is optimal for projects of all shapes and sizes, new and old. So as I had mentioned, migration opportunities are something that's definitely bubbling up within our network and within our community. So we're very happy to kind of sneak preview one here that was done by a partner of ours called Quandary, based in Western Canada. This was done for a biotechnology company. It was an account creation use case for one of their back office systems. We will soon release further details of this, but what we have here is a little bit of a meme, or, as the kids might call it, a glow up. So we have, how it started on the left-hand side, and you see that, the vision for RPA didn't really become a reality. There were challenges in the time that it took to develop this process, as well as, in reality, it never even got developed in its entirety. There was complexity and over-engineering, and altogether to us, this doesn't sound like the right vision for automation. So enter Robocorp, and our partner, we were tasked with fixing this automation and making it work within a 30-day time period, which we were happy to deliver on. It ended up being an end-to-end single process, substantially less lines of code and substantially less confusion for the engineers. And altogether, the result was the equivalent of a human running the process would take 5 to 10 minutes. Robocorp, it took less than a minute. The most important point to make here is that it was never truly implemented with our competitors. The end result was ultimately not much faster than a human for what they were able to automate, and they were never able to get 100% end-to-end automation in the flexible model that we've provided here for our partner to work within. So we've already talked about the business opportunity and addressable market. There's a theme that we'll continue to reiterate throughout the course of this webinar, and we'll stand by with all sincerity. It's not just you when you're out there. We want to win with you. So from a technology perspective, it's both important and valuable for you to know that when you sell through to your customers, our best-in-class technology and our best-in-class team is backing you. We have invested significantly in building an enterprise-grade platform here. Chris highlighted the venture capital funding and what we have behind us and are putting to work. What is unique and again speaks to the opportunities in working with us is that you can start small for free, create an account right now and start to build your practice and start to develop and test your automations with the confidence to build big. So if you do have aspirations of selling into the Fortune 100, the Fortune 500, you can have the confidence to start small with us today and then build towards those bigger opportunities. So when it comes to infrastructure, a lot of it is on our shoulders and we're here to help support. And as Chris mentioned, that's one thing that is very much overlooked in the industry today is the amount of time and effort along with the money that it takes in order to maintain the infrastructure associated with the Gen 1 providers of RPA. We have an elegant, modern, intuitive developer experience. We support CI/CD pipelines, GitHub integrations. We're built on serverless technologies. I could throw out more buzzwords, but I'll probably cut myself off there. Security, it's built in, it's robust. We're selling in ourselves to Fortune 500 enterprises, financial organizations, healthcare organizations, as well as the US federal government. Chris mentioned also the acronyms that we're adding to our roster in terms of SOC certifications. That will certainly not end and will continue to expand and place security as a top priority for us. Saana will very soon discuss the dashboard and how you're able to run your entire business effectively through a single pane of glass. In addition to that, you have built-in secure access control for all of your customers, as well as role management. And then also, when it comes to open source, that's a mentality that extends even beyond our business model. We have an active community providing help when needed. We have a Slack channel with in excess of 4,000, 5,000 developers around the globe. It's not just us that are here to help you. And then lastly, business models, if you're accustomed to implementation or time and materials-based services, great. We have a better option for you because we can help you meet your deadlines and we can help your deployments be more sustainable. If you are augmenting your practice with migration services, obviously that's an opportunity as well. And then lastly, I'm going to hand things off to Saana, who's going to review something entirely new or something that's emerging within the industry. And she's going to talk about why it's best to do it with Robocorp, and that's the robotics as a service business model. So Saana, hand off to you for now.
Thank you. Yes, so as Peter mentioned, Robocorp's tooling works very well for all different business models in the RPA landscape. However, the tools work especially well for the robotics as a service providers, And this is an area where we are planning to add even more features and resources to ensure that the RaaS model gets as smooth as possible for our partners. So there are many reasons why our tools work better for RaaS providers compared with the other RPA toolings. So with our platform, it's very easy to get started with new customers, as the upfront investment is low or non-existent, and you can get started right away whenever you want. The development of the robot for a new customer can start immediately whenever you want. And if you are in a hurry, you don't even need to contact our sales to get to a higher tier. You can just pay with your credit card and get the features to your use. So another aspect that makes Robocorp platform appealing for RaaS providers is our consumption-based pricing, which Chris already mentioned. So our pricing scales with you and enables use cases to be implemented, that even those ones that haven't had an ROI earlier. But with high volume use cases and the 24/7 use cases, remember our billing caps and bundles and contact us before you do the math for the consumption. And we are also very happy to optimize your robot for our platform, or help you to optimize your robot. Our cloud native control room with its dashboards is a modern way to organize your robotics as a service business. But if wanted, we are also happy to be the engine behind your user interface. Which is why we are building APIs for most of our features. Next, I will present you something new that we are planning to add to our control room offering, designed especially for RaaS providers. So at the moment, we are planning on a new layer for Robocorp control room, and this is called partner account level management. And this account is designed specifically for the RaaS providers. For those of you who are not familiar with Robocorp control room, currently we have two layers, organizations and workspaces. So each of your RaaS client should have one organization where you can control access and monitor the robots for each client separately. And under the organization, you have workspaces, and these are typically used for different business departments. Workspaces can have unlimited amount of processes and assistants under them, and the usage is tracked on an individual process level. So what we are adding to the current setup is the robotics as a service account, and it will be added on top of the organizations. And this RaaS account will enable even smoother experience for our RaaS partners. And in this model, you will have one account to manage all of your customers, and you can manage billing and invoicing from one central place. And so we will let you know more about this later this fall. That's all what we want to cover about RaaS, and let's continue with the benefits of our partner program. So what you as a partner get when you join the Robocorp partner program. At Robocorp, we want to ensure that you are able to grow your business with us with as little friction as possible. And this is why we support you when you get started with our tools. And after the first steps have been taken, we help you expand. So I'll talk more about the support side, and Peter will then continue with the joint marketing opportunities. So the support you get from us and the community. To enable your developers to build as many robots as possible, we have training courses available for the developers to get familiar with our tools. Currently, we have levels 1 and 2 available, and the level 3 is coming this fall. When you're starting to implement your first customer use case, we can arrange a workshop with your developers where we will walk through your use case, give your developers recommendations for libraries and keywords, and share best practices for setting up your customers' Robocorp organization. And once the robot has been built, a code review with our engineers will ensure that your nearly production-ready robot is high quality and optimized for our platform. We also as a company, we want the communication with the Robocorp team to be as effective as possible. So you can reach us easily via Slack, Teams, and we can also arrange Zoom calls on a short notice. If you have a blocker with your robot or something else, we are happy to help. Before we move on to the marketing opportunities, I just want to highlight that the support from us doesn't cost you anything. So we are happy to help you build more automations with our platform. Thank you. And Peter will continue with the marketing opportunities.
Peter.
All right. Classic. I was the one that left myself on mute. Anyway, thank you very much, Saana, for the handoff. So when we think about go-to-market initiatives at Robocorp and helping to expand either your existing practice or build something entirely new, we would like to take a comprehensive approach. We're obviously very eager to document and promote your work. Some of the examples that you'll see on the screen here is how we do that. So we have webinars, we have listings on our website, we have other case studies, social media promotions, all the above, all that noise making and cheerleading we are happy to do and actually can be very enthusiastic about and get rave reviews. For us, when it comes to actually working through these marketing opportunities, we're working to implement processes that make it a light lift for you, the partner. We recognize that you yourselves may not have the time or energy to contribute a lot to marketing, and you're out there focused on your development efforts and focused on the success of your end customers. So for us, we want to do as much as we possibly can to get you the attribution and materials that you both need and deserve to help build your practice. We have a proud commitment, as I mentioned, to amplify any and all of your accomplishments. And then also, in addition to what you see here, we have other outlets as well. So we have done bot videos and sizzle reels on behalf of partners. We contribute paid advertising to the webinars that we do with our partners, as well as testimonials, copy review, help placing details about Robocorp on your website or any additional collateral. These are all things that we are happy to pitch in, and you'll get feedback in a rapid and effective way. So for us, I spoke at the beginning of this slide about a comprehensive approach. So how do we turn it up a notch? Well, we aren't afraid to put on consultative hats ourselves. So sharing of business models, providing sales templates, again, being there with you every step of the way, whether it's your first sales pitch or your first developer hire. We in our community of other partners are here to assist and enter Partner Central. So Partner Central is a new advancement, I guess, for Robocorp, and I'm going to give you guys kind of a live tour here very quickly. So it's a private, partner-only portal of information designed to support the building of your Robocorp practice in its entirety. We've done our homework on similar efforts within the technology industry. We couldn't help but notice that more or less, when you look at private partner portals, they are simply an outline of what revenue target you need to achieve in order to unlock your next platinum, gold, silver rating, et cetera, et cetera. Then leaving it all to you and your own devices in order to accomplish it. So we think we can do better. We're holding ourselves to a higher standard, and Partner Central is one of the ways that we hope to deliver that. So Partner Central is currently a work in progress, but we'd like to show you some of the most complete sections. Specifically for our existing signed partners on the line now, we've now established a simple baseline of what it is to be certified, listed on our website, and eligible for additional promotional networking and outlets. So you'll see those details here. You'll also, as I breeze through, see ways to ramp up your development, whether that be building your team through hiring, outsourcing, subcontracting, et cetera, et cetera. Additional developer resources and links to our developer documentation. Help with your first POC. Help with setting up your customers and their environments. Inspiration for use cases and FAQs about security are all things that we intend to scale up here as we add to the platform. Of course, there's very basic things like what do you get as a partner? So that's all included here. Our team, our roadmap, some of the things that we're doing in terms of expanding our offering for partners is show and tell opportunities where myself and mostly Hannah Katunian in our enablement team is meeting with small groups of partners every 2 to 3 weeks to discuss specific topics. And we'll be posting that partner only feedback within here as well. And then the last thing that I'll show for everybody on the line now is our list of promotional options. So as I had mentioned in the slide, there's a lot more that we can do aside from just giving you a thumbs up on LinkedIn or a retweet on Twitter. There's plenty of other options here that are available to partners of all stages, not only those that are quote unquote certified and have begun delivering projects to their customers. So as I return to the prepared presentation now, I'm going to hand things off to Saana again to discuss about what's next in terms of our partner program and its roadmap.
Yeah, so as already mentioned, we have raised new funding, and with the help of the funding, we are planning to focus a lot of resources on the partner program, both on the product side and also on the partner program side. So the products will get new features and improvements specifically targeted to RaaS providers and partners. For example, the partner account level management was reviewed earlier. Some other improvements on the roadmap include improved onboarding process for partners in the tooling, a new automation studio that will help teams with varied skills levels to learn Robocorp automation incrementally, and new dashboards and analytics for partners and customers. And our partner program is also renewing a bit. So as Peter already showed you, we launched our Partner Central, and we are also increasing the support for our partners with the help of workshops, code reviews, and also the joint marketing opportunities. And of course, let us know if you have any other ideas to improve our program. We want to improve it with you.
Great, and I'm going to take things back from Saana very quickly just to outline where we are today in terms of our partner ecosystem. And mentioning earlier that open source is not only the business model that Robocorp has, but also the genuine approach that we have towards building our community and our platform. So the most obvious statement that we're making here with this map is that the model is proven. We're actively working with approximately 75 partner organizations around the globe. But what we'd like to report more specifically is that we're proud to facilitate ways for this community to work together. Sharing experiences, delivering on projects together. For us, we like the word co-opetition rather than competition, because we've noticed that all of our partners have at least one thing in common, that they think there's a better future for automation. Lastly, what we are seeing is competitive moats being built around expertise and successful deployments. So it's definitely worth stating that the early mover advantage is winning out for a lot of our most successful partners, some of which are listed here. So it's not too late to be an earlier adopter of Robocorp, and we're going to, as we wrap things up here, give you more details about how to actually move forward with us in our partner program. So in summary, there's a number of great reasons and specific ideas as to why one might partner with Robocorp and why you should do it today. For us, it's the technology foundation. It's open source flexible, it's cloud native, it's disruptive, and a consumption-based pricing model, all of which Chris spoke to eloquently at the beginning of this call. Next is the opportunities, whether it's the greenfield, small and medium-sized businesses, or a fresh approach to the existing automation projects that you've already worked with, we're serving it all. Next is the support and attention that you get. I think one of our favorite compliments that we received from an anonymous partner a few months ago is that it took him 2 weeks to hear back from a Gen 1 provider versus 2 weeks to work with us to deliver on a project and get it out the door to his customer. So attentiveness and support is something that we take a lot of pride in and will continue to prioritize as we build out our partner program. Then extending that, we're in this together. Robocorp does not have its own services division. It intends to focus on our core technology product, leaving you all to capture those services opportunities. Last, we're seeing that early adopters are being rewarded and expect that that will only continue to grow exponentially. We have a proven network of partners, but there's plenty of time and available resources to welcome new ones, as well as work more closely with the ones that we've already have established relationships with. With that, I'm going to hand things off to Saana to share her final thoughts and share how to get in touch with us. But I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We will have a short Q&A section or time for Q&A afterwards, but wanted to say thank you first and foremost.
Yep, thanks also from my part. So if you are interested in joining the Robocorp partner program, you can get started by contacting us. And I just want to highlight one more time that the program itself doesn't cost you anything, and all the support that you get from us is included. So we will guide you through our certified partner path and help you, for example, getting your developer certified and implementing your first robot with our tools. I will share the contact us link in the chat if one of you already wants to contact us. I will just choose everyone if you haven't already. So we can get started with the partner program. Okay, I think now we have time for questions.
Great. Thank you, Saana. Thank you, Peter. There's a couple of questions that have come in via the Q&A and in the chat. Mendagas asked about the API access. And so that's something that we have pretty robust capabilities on today. I'm going to send you a link right now on the API and webhook documentation, so you can see for yourself what's in the platform today and what's available. And we always are looking at extending that and making that more accessible for everyone. So if there's particular needs that you have or ideas, please let us know. We're glad to take that feedback and look at what we can do to make it even more powerful. Second question came in and asked about the scalable environments that Saana had on her slide. Saana, do you want to expand on that?
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't mention that part. So yeah, so we want the environments. So at the moment, the problem with the license model with other RPA tools is that you can only run one robot at a time. So what we want in the future to hammer with the Robocorp platform is that you can have multiple robots running at the same time in one run environment, so that you can also lower your infrastructure costs. So that is something that we are testing at the moment.
Great, thanks, Saana. Next question came in and says, I'm planning on starting my own robot as a service business, but I'm still working on my own. Can I still join the program? The answer is absolutely yes. And I think Peter can tell lots of stories about partners that started out with us in that exact fashion. You know, a person or two that had an idea and we're looking for a platform to start building that business out. And, you know, that's an exciting partner for us, right? We've seen a lot of success with that model.
Yeah, I think that they are, you know, ideally some of the most perfect partners to enter into our ecosystem, Chris. If I can just add that, you know, very frequently we see individuals like yourself who have asked this anonymously, you know, recognize the weaknesses or lack of opportunity available in the traditional models of service and traditional models of RPA practice entirely. And they, you know, come to us with, you know, the understanding that this is where they want to go, but realize that, you know, sensibly as adults and humans with other responsibilities, it might take 3 or 6 months for them to get there. So we're happy to, you know, quietly support those initiatives and privately as well, and are very keen to any of those sensitivities. We'll leave you to handle the drama with your prior employer though yourself. So, but joking aside, to Chris's point, we're happy to, you know, establish a working relationship with you in advance of a public launch.
Thanks, Peter. Next question asked if we could share the slide deck. Absolutely. we'll make that available to everyone. And, you know, further to that, part of Partner Central is making more and more presentations and demos and collateral available to all of you as a partner to retrofit to your purposes. So yes, we'll absolutely make this available for everyone. Next question says, how will we be informed about future technical roadmap? That's something we want to get better and better at. We recognize the need for you to be able to plan your business out in the future and understand kind of what's coming. You got a little bit of a sneak preview of a couple of things today, but we do want to start communicating in a more rapid fashion around things that are planned for future development items, and get your feedback on things that would be helpful. So look for that in the coming weeks and months. You know, we have the benefit of Hannah being on our team now. She was our former head of product management and has now come over to the partner enablement and support role. And she's going to be a great asset for us for liaising with engineering to talk to you about some of those innovations that we're bringing to bear on the market. Next question, I intend to use bots to scale the operations of my startup. Would that be a good fit for the partner program? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, we have startups that are doing business with us directly today that work with partners to help them build out those automations. Some do it on their own. And those are great stories for us. You know, companies of just a handful of people that are scaling via automation versus having to throw people at their scaling challenges, right? So there's an opportunity to build your business in such a way by leveraging this technology from the outset that can provide you, you know, orders of magnitude of benefit down the road. Okay, I think we've gone through most of the questions that were in the Q&A. We've got a few minutes left here. Glad to answer any others that anyone has. Here's one. Can you support migrating from an existing RPA platform to Robocorp? Yeah, the answer is absolutely yes. We've got experience doing that you know, even here recently with the Automation Anywhere conversion that we discussed. There are multiple others that we have underway in various stages, and we're glad to share those lessons learned and help however we can. We are working on things around how to give our partners access to technology that would make the bot conversion process faster and easier from, let's say, a Gen 1 player like a BP or an AA or a UiPath. We're not quite there yet, but we are working on it. Are there any future plans on having CAPTCHA cracking functionality? Saana, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, we do get asked about CAPTCHA quite regularly. So at the moment, I don't think we have anything on the roadmap, but I will come back with this one as we are getting questions about this quite often. But of course, as everyone knows, the CAPTCHAs are there for a reason, but of course, sometimes it might be good for the robot to be able to get past them.
Question coming in from one of our existing partners. In the event a client wants to bring management of bots internally, but their bots are hosted within a workspace you created for them, is it possible to transfer them over and remove yourself? So I'm sure this will happen down the line, so I'm curious. Yeah, the answer is yes to that, right? That's a fairly simple process and just standing up an account that the customer would own. And we do see scenarios where clients prefer to have a direct relationship with Robocorp and then use our partners for the managed services around building the bots and maintaining them, but they want a direct relationship with the vendor. And we're open to working with you in any and all of those scenarios. Here's a question. I like this one. Our customers tend to refer to Gartner Magic Quadrant for all their decisions. Any plans to get on the Gartner radar? Yeah, we're well aware of this from past lives and know that a lot of customers turn to that and look. We have just started briefing Gartner within the last month. We got really good feedback. What we were told is they're getting asked about us all the time. We are in the process of formalizing our relationship with Gartner and having more access to their analysts and their entire community. So yes, we know that we as a company and you as partners need that kind of visibility that'll help you grow, and we're on it.
And the only thing that I would add there, of course, it doesn't address the question directly, but we have successfully worked with a number of existing analyst organizations. We also do have a growing presence on peer review platforms like G2. So please, one, for our users, help us out and share a glowing review. I think we still have 4 or 5 stars in total. And then also for other folks interested, we're happy to compile a listing of those mentions and those reviews from other, whether it be leaders in the community or existing, maybe lesser known analyst firms. But we do have some available materials for folks along that path today as well.
There was one question that came in earlier on going into details on pricing. We weren't planning to do that as part of the webinar today. We do have detailed pricing information out there publicly available on our website. But please, if you run into questions and you'd like to walk through a scenario and talk about what we could do to address a particular client situation, we're glad to engage in those and help you however we can. We've done creative things in the past, migration projects, for example. What can we do to help a client ramp in over time, right? Those kinds of conversations we're having today, and we're glad to help. And really the same thing on the technical side as well. We're glad to get our founders and our engineering team on the line to help you with your discussions with potential clients, to talk about us as a company, details on our technology. We've done detailed InfoSec reviews for people. Those are the kind of things that we're ready and willing to help any and all of our partners with at any time. Okay, at this time, I don't see any more questions in the Q&A. With that, I think we'll wrap it up. Really appreciate everyone's time, and we're looking forward to working with you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.